didn't submit to this. He said, "Ma'am, could I do it again or do another one? Because I'm not yet happy with what I submitted to you." Certainly a very unique characteristic among students. So even before they talked of PQM, he was already into continuous improvement, even in college. Like I said, they make more money now with Kaizen. The third story I'd like to tell you is that when Rene informed me that the book will be ready for launching, and we were well on our way to prepare our budgets for research for this school year, Rene comes to me and says, "I want to write another book for this school year." Okay? So right away we included his request in our budget request for this school year because we know Rene will deliver. So all of those hard work and the continuing drive to improve and the continuing drive to produce more is a model for all other faculty members in the institute who want to go into IT. So Rene, congratulations. First, good.
There's no such thing as quality without innovation. So we're innovating the program. Before the word of the author, because we're going to have the presentation of the first copy of the book for a key person in our institute, Washington Sycip. What we will do is hear some words from the publisher who has come here only for this book launching, ladies and gentlemen, and that's Stephen Troff. That's the truth of the matter. And then we're going to have the word from the author, and together they will present it to the chairman of AIM, Asian Institute of Management Chairman, Washington Sycip, Mr. Troff, and then Mr. Domingo.
Well, Chairman Sycip, Dean Alfonso, Dean Gallego, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and children. It's not often that we publishers have a chance to address an audience such as this, so I was very delighted when I was invited to say a few words on this occasion of the launching of Professor Domingo's book. Firstly, if you'll permit me, I would like to give a brief introduction to my company. We were founded in New York in 1924 by Richard Simon and Max Schuster with the publication of a crosswords puzzle book. It has now grown to become the world's largest English language book publisher with revenues of over $2.5 billion. Additionally, we're the world's largest educational publisher as well as the biggest business and computer book publisher. Each year we publish approximately 12,000 new books, and we're the owners of 400,000 copyrights. 10% of this annual output is now published in languages other than English, and we're actively selling our books in 150 countries around the world and have offices in 45 of them, making us a truly international force in publishing. And incidentally, our first office in Asia was established in the Philippines, in Manila, and is here today going from strength to strength. I think this growth is impressive in the space of 70 years and from such humble beginnings as one crossword puzzle book. But of course, big is not beautiful, as I'm sure Professor Domingo would assure us. And impressive though the numbers may be, in the publishing business, it's the quality rather than the quantity that is the real guarantor of success. And this quality ultimately derives from the authors who provide the content for our books and other publications, as well as from the talented editors we employ who identify those authors and who help them to develop their thoughts and manuscripts into a final published form. Indeed, it's this close personal interaction between editor and author that is at the heart of good publishing. And without it, size alone is worthless. In fact, it's an encumbrance. We're fortunate in this respect in that the manner in which Simon & Schuster has grown has favoured the development of small editorial units within one large mega company. Simon & Schuster is largely an aggregate of smaller publishing companies that have been acquired and merged, most of them over the past 10 years. The first major acquisition was Sycip, a famous name in American educational publishing and a leading publisher of college textbooks. There followed other famous names in school publishing, Silver, Adept and Ginn, and trade publishing, Scribner, Touchstone, Fireside, as well as business publishing, the Free Press, Jossie Bass, Lexington Press, and incidentally, the Free Press is the publisher of another AIM professor, Professor Roberto, but that was before we acquired it. Allen Bacon, another leader in higher education, was added later, as well as Appleton and Lang, another famous US medical publisher. The leading US paperback publisher, Pocketbooks, was included. And most recently, Simon & Schuster has acquired Macmillan Publishing, with its considerable computer publishing interests, Hugh, Sams, Ziff Davis, and many other imprints, as well as its encyclopedia and general reference lists. The list of imprints is in fact too long for me to name them all. In total, there are 56 different imprints which we publish under, each one specializing in some area or having its own particular character, and each one having its largely autonomous editorial team. Because editorially we are a patchwork quilt, we've been able to stay small and personal and maintain those quintessential author-publisher relations that characterize publishing at its best. At the same time, we've been able to take advantage of our size in obtaining scale economies in printing and manufacturing, as well as using our vast international network to optimize sales around the world. I don't know what Professor Domingo would have to say about all this, but I think we do agree with him that quality means survival in this intensely competitive publishing world in which we operate. And this means we must make extra efforts to find quality authors. Well, we found Professor Domingo, and my hope is that in future we'll be able to find many more quality authors here at AIM. We're proud to be the publishers of Professor Domingo's book, and to have thereby established this connection with AIM, which we regard as one of the premier business schools in the Asia-Pacific region. And we're glad to see that this is being generally recognized outside of the region now, as recent polls in the international press have shown. Prestigious publications by AIM faculty staff can only enhance the growing reputation of AIM. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite any other prospective authors at AIM to contact us with their ideas. I should add that we're equally pleased to accept proposals from authors outside of AIM. We ourselves are committed to becoming the premier business publisher in Asia, and an association with AIM, whether formal or informal, can only help us to achieve this goal. So I congratulate Professor Domingo on the publication of his book, and thank you all for allowing me to address you today. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, my dear colleagues, friends, and fellow crusaders in quality. And after writing this book, I have to wear eyeglasses. Good afternoon. First of all, let me thank you for celebrating with me the launch of my first and hopefully not my last book, Quality Means Survival. Today's attendance is a surprising indication of how many friends and relatives I still have left after years of almost reclusive existence writing this book. Today, the 3rd of July, is an auspicious date for me, for it is sandwiched between two historical events: the British turnover of Hong Kong to China last July 1st, and the U.S. turnover of the Philippines to Filipinos tomorrow, 4th of July. Similarly, and hopefully, my book would help put an end to Asia's dependence on Western textbooks and thinkers in the field of quality management. Now let me share with you the less noble and less messianic reasons for embarking on this book writing project. After years of photocopying tons of my magazine articles on total quality management, as course materials for my classes at AIM, and my consulting work and workshops, it dawned upon me that there must be a more convenient and incidentally more lucrative way of doing it. Why not write and sell a book on TQM? I asked myself. The biggest challenge I faced was not how to write a book, but how to write a quality book on quality. I've gone through dozens of books on the subject. Many are how-to guidebooks that make total quality seem too easy. And others are onerous textbooks that make it seem so impossible to achieve. If quality is for everybody, I thought I must strike a delicate balance in terms of readability, content, and convincing power. What I thought was missing in the market was a why not book on TQM rather than a how-to book. To end, once and for all, this skepticism and lip service among companies and managers about the importance of quality, especially in an increasingly globalized economy. So the formula I decided was to make the book inspiring, enlightening, horrifying, instructive, and entertaining at the same time. A book that is both sweet and sour, so to speak. In the final output, which I consider a final wake-up call on quality, you will find very serious frameworks and theories punctuated by witty quotations from movie stars, cartoons, delightful anecdotes drawn from my personal experiences, and horror stories about quality-related accidents and disasters. The subtitle, let the seller beware, in contrast to Let the buyer beware, was meant to jolt producers and service providers alike out of their comfort zones. Of course, just as I preach, and just as the customer or end user is the ultimate judge of the quality of a product and not its manufacturer, then you, the readers, rather than the author, would be the better judge of the quality of my work. I would like to thank the Asian Institute of Management for giving me the time to finish the book. Dean Alfonso, Dean Gallegos, Dean Gavino have given me total support in this research project. I would like to acknowledge the generous book and manuscript reviews made by my esteemed colleagues and friends, especially Ned Roberto, Gabi Mendoza, Ricky Lim, Sandy Coloma, Jet Magsaysay, Ashok Nat, Rene Navarrete, Jack Lim, Masaki Imai of the Kaizen Institute of Japan, and Alan Blackman of the Duran Institute. Professor Ned Roberto was my mentor and model in book writing. I would like to thank the rest of the AIM faculty for helping me finish the book, especially with the persistent and anxious question, how's your book, Rene? Every time I meet them along the hallways and even in comfort rooms. I would like to thank the other members of the AIM faculty at the AOEOM, this is the Area of Excellence Operations Management, led by Professor June Bernardo, who handled my classes here delighted. I would also like to thank the Philippine staff of the Simon & Schuster office, a national bookstore represented by Mrs. Socorro Ramos, the general manager, for the local promotion and sales of the book. My eternal gratitude goes to my teachers in school and in life, Tomonori Kumagay and Ikuro Kusaba of the Nagoya Institute of Technology, my English teacher, Concepcion Ladifalsa, my School of Hard Knocks mentor, Mandy Santos, who is an AIM alumnus, my late brother, Rolly, a former UP professor, my late father, Art, who started the advertising industry in this country, my only daughter, Karen, who's here right now, was 5 when I started writing the book. Now she's 8. Now you can just imagine how much work and time went into the book. At 5, Marites, for her encouragement and editing. Let me tell you something about my wife. After reading and checking the manuscript many times, she confessed that she has become so sensitive to quality in anything. On weekends, we often go out to shop and dine. Every time she receives good service or buys defective merchandise, she always insisted that I write about it in the book and criticize the store or the salesperson. So I said, okay, I agree, just to illustrate a point on quality, but no names. So you will find a lot of these disguised anecdotes in my book, courtesy of my wife, my virtual co-author. However, after the final manuscript was submitted and approved by Prentice Hall, we still, of course, experienced bad service. But I told her she will have to fight back in the next edition of the book. Well, I think the best judge is really you. I don't think I am really in a position to describe how effective or ineffective my book is. So to all my friends, clients, and students, thank you and happy reading. Good afternoon.
Invite Mr. Quality to please stand in the center as we invite first Karen and Lawrence. And now we would like to invite the gentleman who is beyond quality, the chairman of the Asian Institute of Management, Mr. Washington Sycip. We would like to invite the virtual co-author, Marites Domingo, and the publishing director for Asia of Simon & Schuster, Mr. Stephen Strauss. As Professor Domingo now presents formally the first copy of the book to the Asian Institute of Management. And now, Mr. Beyond Quality would like to share a few words. Shall we give Mr. Sycip a big hand?
As chairman of the Asian Institute of Management, and as you know, in Asia, when something goes wrong, the chairman has to apologize and to take the blame for it. But if I was reading through the reviewer's comments, in the first paragraph. So we need more quality in our printing shop.